Hello everybody, I'm Brenzo, and well, it's the beginning of the end. The series is almost over. The ship, almost done. Now I think you're like, oh, it doesn't look almost done, it looks pretty empty to me. Well, cynical viewer, need I tell you that the way I approached the ship was to design the components first and then install them later. So, that's what we're doing. We're installing components. We're gonna test everything, because you should always be testing. And we're gonna get the ship done. Not in this episode, but we're gonna get pretty damn close. I imagine in this episode we're gonna run through most everything. Like ammo, lambs, engines, AI, propulsion, maybe even look at some secondaries. And then next episode we're gonna start pulling it all together and maybe like doing our superstructure and things like that. But I don't know. I don't know where this is going to take me, so guess you'll find out along with me. Or you can read the description, because I probably wrote it there because I'm already done. Anyway, here we have the empty shell. This is the Ragnarok at its most base level. It's just the hull, the armor, and the guns. And there's the test engine. So, we already are costing 1.1 million, which is pretty good. We're on track to make our budget with this thing. This thing looks pretty decent, has good armor, good guns, good everything. But obviously I've done more than this. So let's take you to the next iteration that I tried, and I'll talk a bit about it. So here's the next version. What's changed? Well, there's things in the Citadel now. I had an idea with this version of making an EMP box. So if you don't know the way EMP roughly works, is when you send an EMP into a ship, say it hits my hull, it travels along the path of least resistance, and heavy armor is the path of no resistance, and rubber is the path of most resistance. And it also tries to do the most damage it possibly can. So these are 100% susceptible, and they have a lot of health, so they're very, very damageable. So anyway, my idea here was that EMP goes in here, it finds the heavy armor, which is basically an EMP highway. It sees all this electrical stuff is connected to rubber, so it's not really worth going to. But it sees these surge protectors and just blitzes it. So I'll show you that it works. So we'll pop up this EMP. I'll say we get hit by an EMP missile on the outside. And there we go. Works as intended. Hit anywhere, it goes on the highway, it goes to surge protectors. Any other side, surge protectors. Doesn't ever go to the lasers or EMP. Or AI, rather. However, I was informed by Mr. Vard that putting the lasers in the lowest part of the Citadel, which is basically the most protected part because the water line is natural armor, is probably a worse idea than putting the engines down there. Because, well, the engines are more important than the lasers. And also, this lamb setup isn't that great. It only pulls 30,000, and it doesn't really do all that much damage. So, it's not that great. And I'll just show off the AI, because it hasn't changed, and it will not change. So it is heavy armor, wraps around rubber, which is the way I like to do it. I've just gone for about 40 GPP. I'm not going for remote guided anything on this ship, so I don't feel it's necessary to have a lot of GPP. Inter-vehicle transmitter, because it's free. I've crammed my future CWIZ controllers in here for the missiles, just because why not? You may as well, because they don't need to be on the SAM turrets themselves. And the AI itself is pretty basic. I updated it later, but we're just going to be broadsiding, so we don't need much. Let's talk about this. I made a claim, because I was told, and I tested it, and it appeared to be true, but it isn't, that target prio looks at objects. Well, turns out it doesn't. It just looks at whole ships. So, that's wrong. You can't snipe turrets with this. You have to use aim point selection, which I will be doing. So this is basically an unset up AI. Nothing special. I do most of my AI setup and like breadboarding in combat testing, so that's when we're going to do most of that. And yeah, here's just the general layout of the ship. Already looks pretty good. So let's go to the next version where I actually put the engines in properly. So, here's the next version. I'll just turn off movement so it stops wasting power. You can kind of already tell and probably hear that the pistons are under here. So I'll just turn off structural viewing so I can actually see. And we have the setup that I made in the engine video, where I have a serial setup, which I'm going to put ACBs in here in the AI compartment to tell this to only work when there's enemies, and tell this, or when there's no enemies and enemies, and tell this to only turn on when there are enemies and turn off when there's none. And we also have turbines, which are basically our main source for our railgun. We will be having redundant turbines everywhere once we get towards the bow and stern. I just need to finish Citadel first. Also, I put these batteries in here last time, and I'm just keeping them there. We don't need much more than 4 million power, or energy rather. We don't have like packs or offensive or not lasers. We don't have packs, and we don't have railgun spam, so it's not that essential. I've crammed in materials anywhere I can. I still need to cram in more, because I'd like there to be most of my storage in the Citadel. And yeah, these are just basic. These are parallels, these are PPV, these are serials, these are PPM. These are pretty middle tier steam turbines. They probably only get about like 600 something PPM. I guess EPM? Energy per material? Whatever. But yeah. Have surge protectors up here on the AI just in case anything manages to find its way in here, which could happen. And the other cool thing, oh, I put rudders on here. These are just for testing. These aren't permanent at all. I'm just using these to kind of see what the ship's speed is at without having more propellers on the bottom, because I'm going to do those in the future. So, I've thought, this ship is big and slow. How do I make it less slow but still as big? And, well, the conclusion that was arrived at is double the amount of Azipods. There's 8. 8 total. That's a lot. This thing is freaking fast. Let me get Rambot in here. Where you at, buddy? This thing moves like stink for something of its size, and it's kind of impressive. Takes up a lot of power, though. So, show it off. So, we are drawing like, I think it's 32,000 power or something like that on these. Maybe more. Maybe more. It's a lot. It's whatever 8,000 or 4,000 times 1, 2. Yeah, you can do the math. I don't care. We're drawing a lot of power, and we're going very fast, which I like. We will have the power to spare, because even with the railguns active, we still aren't using all our power. Even with shields active, we probably won't be using all our power. And we will be having secondary power sources. So that's good. We're breaking 42, which is very, very nice. That is about as fast as something is this ridiculous size should really be, realistically. And yeah, that's it for this one. I just have ammo here. This is not permanent. I'm just trying to see how much ammo the guns themselves need, not to mention any secondaries or missiles we'll be having. Just to give me an idea of how much space I'm going to need for the actual ammo compartments, which there will be many, many of. And yeah, that's this version. Let's see the next where I actually finish the lamps properly. So, you should ignore the just the lamps tower, because that's not permanent. This is just for testing. I have decided that what better to fill the rest of the Citadel with than just a Giga Lambs. But Brenza, aren't you going to have like Sea-Wiz and Interceptors and all that crap? How are you going to be able to afford anything? Well, oh viewer, it doesn't matter. We have 600,000 good boy points left. And we have a lot of space to put a lot more guns. We'll definitely be putting like Sea-Wiz up here. Maybe some like AA style guns, some little fast shooters. Some torpedoes. Some more secondaries and Sea-Wiz. I'm thinking secondaries are probably going to be specialized. Like we might have a secondary that's whole purpose is to destroy Era. Which I need to experiment the best way to do that. We might have secondaries that their whole purpose is to turn off shields. Things like that. I might even cram in some VLS here and there just because Rabaz did, so why shouldn't I? And then, of course, we'll be putting SAMs and other things all around. And yeah, lambs. Lambs. Almost forgot. Caught me monologuing. I haven't fully tuned this yet. Like, I don't have output regulators, and I don't think I have this in its final configuration. I could eke out more on this if I want. You see I left myself a lot of space here. But this is a 50,000 draw lambs, and it does a lot of damage. And I just want to show it off. I'm pretty sure... Ooh, before I do what I want to do, I want to combat test this real quick. Before I do that, I want to show off the controls. Where are the controls? Here they are. Where is the fun parts? Yeah. So, just broadside 2.0. I'm trying to keep this at a good distance because we need the distance to detect shells and then shoot them down, because crams are our biggest enemy, and we need to shoot down crams at all costs. We're huge, we're not that fast, we're not that evasive. We simply cannot get hit by crams. So we need to be at a long distance to better increase our chances of not getting hit by them. So we're going to be at about 2,500. Maybe I'll tune it up to like 3, but that's a little excessive. I'm testing the angle. Obviously, you want to be at an angle when broadsiding, not flat, because that gives you better sloped armor for kinetics. And yeah, I haven't really tuned much else here. I've just turned off the pitch PID because it was being annoying. And bread, I haven't set up the bread very effectively yet. I've just put my PIDs in. Obviously, we have up, pitch, and roll. But I'll probably be doing a lot more bread stuff later. I haven't really set up the aiming because, well, that's going to be for final combat testing, because I need to choose target prios. And yeah, we will have a secondary AI somewhere. I'll probably find some funny little spot to cram it into, like between turrets or something, or in the very back, like above the above the Azipods, or just somewhere. Unsure yet, but there will be probably 1 or 2 backup mainframes, just in case. And yeah, that's about it. So let's see what this lambs can do. I'm pretty sure, at least until the Titan Slung starts shooting its APS, that we can take down most of its main volley. So let's try that out. Let's get way over here. I do need to tune the AI more. It does act a little stupid. Like, it'll just reverse and sit still at times instead of just continually broadsiding, which is something I need to work on quite badly. Not mine. T. Slung. Why am I testing against this thing so hard? Well, it's because it has my biggest enemy of crams. The Titan Slung is pretty big Doom crams, so... Oh, I spawned it on my team. The Titan Slung is pretty big Doom crams at like 250 health per, and they do like... like 250k impact damage, like 100k frag damage, something like that. So they're pretty gnarly, and if I get hit by one, not in God mode, which I will be in for this test, because I don't want to instantly die. But if I get hit by one not in God mode, I'm kind of dead. So let's see. It just fired its crams, and I see them coming in. Okay, we wasted all our good boy points on the fucking... Oh, excuse my language. On the damn APS. So, I'll just configure this so we don't waste anymore. It's getting loud in here. Here's how the deal. Because I want this thing to, like, have multiple ways of killing all these crams. Besides, like, the interceptors and the Sea-Wiz. So, that's why I'm doing this test. It seems we have a stuck gun. That's awesome. Doesn't matter, we're not trying to kill it. Nope, come on, dude. What the heck? It did it earlier. Why are you still out of power? Alright, hold on. I swear it worked. I swear it worked. I don't know why it won't work now. Is it because the gun's stuck? Okay, well, further testing required, it seems. But anyway, further testing required and further tuning required. We're hopefully going to be able to take out that full volley with just our Sea-Wiz, interceptors, and lambs together. So I'm going to go probably, I don't know what's next. I probably should start designing some Sea-Wiz is what I should do. But I also should finish out the Citadel. So I think I'm going to finish the Citadel. I'm going to start planning out how I'm going to like armor the bow and the stern so that they're not just one hit kill, because they're just one layer thin right now. Probably going to add propulsion, and then we'll just come back once we're done with all that. So here's the next version. I kind of decided that I should look into ammo, and I don't remember if I talked about props or not, but I'm adding props all over. I'm going to add more because there's currently not enough. But yeah, I kind of thought about where can I sneak in ammo, and this is probably not the best because it's really heavy and really volume inefficient. But I'm thinking about sneaking ammo in between the turrets like this, and it's just a bunch of 3x3s staggered off from each other in here. I'm thinking about either ammo in here or like AI and backup engine power, something like that. I don't want to just waste this space because this is like quite a bit of space. I have, you know, 3 long and then like 1,000,000 wide to just cram stuff in. I'm also probably going to put ammo like in the back here and in the front here as well. But I'm currently just trying to find as much space as I can as possible for ammo. And it says right now we need almost 14,000, but we're gonna need more. I've I've since tested this with Sea-Wiz, and it needs a lot more. And then we're still probably gonna have to add torpedo interceptors and maybe real missile interceptors. Yet to see. But we'll definitely at least need torpedo interceptors, which we're gonna have to make some room for. I'll probably just cut them into the turret armor, like here. Just cut them in. Just put like a bunch in. I think that would be sufficient for torpedoes. But anyway, making progress. We're getting close. I still need to do final tuning on things like the Azipods, like how many I want. I still don't know at all what I'm doing for armor up here. I don't even know like if I'll have significant armor. That's yet to be seen. Armoring like things like this, which are really offsets, really annoying in my opinion. So I try to avoid it when possible, but we have to do it, so we will do it. Yeah, this one is quick, just thinking about this little space here and how to maximize it. We have a lot of room, but we also don't have a lot of room, so we have to make use of whatever we can find. Like here, I'll probably cram stuff in as well, like maybe backup power or electricity generation or backup AI since this is a Citadel. Who knows? But yeah. Next, we're going to look at some Sea-Wiz testing. So I've kind of implemented what I think is pretty good for Sea-Wiz. I've really just copied the tiers homework pretty hard, in that I didn't feel like making up my own autoloader Tetris or belt-fed Tetris, so I sliced out the tiers and I cut it into a big old piece. And I made this, which is just an extended version. It's slightly better in that it's more damage, but it's basically the same stats all around. Shooting basically the same round, just heavy heads, fins, tracers. I'm probably going to have to optimize this and find like new rounds, or maybe even redesign the turret. But for now, for my testing purposes, this is kind of good enough. And then, as you can see here, we need a crap ton more ammo. We need almost 20,000. So we're going to have to cram some in this thing. But yeah, so I'm thinking 6 Sea-Wiz batteries, 4 up here, 2 over here. And I think that'll be enough because I've tested this exact setup against the Titan Slung, and I'm going to do it again to show you that I've made progress from previously. And it does quite well. It does quite well indeed. Shields are just here for a test, so I can, you know, see if I can block the rounds as well. And secondaries. I need to talk secondaries. So I do have room for proper secondaries, like I can put some here. But I'm kind of up in the air about secondaries that are guns. I might go for secondaries that are missiles and torpedoes instead. but I'm definitely at the bare minimum. I'm going to use this deck space that Rob has left up here, and I'm probably going to cram in some diff guns. I'm not going to line this thing with diff guns, you know, like my well, I won't call him my favorite YouTuber, but he's one of my favorite FTD YouTubers. I greatly enjoy Gmanism, and I might take some of his homework with just cramming this deck with a reasonable amount of diff guns, but not as much as he does, because he goes insane with those things. He sees empty space and he tosses them on. Props to you, my man. But I'm gonna be a little a little less crazy with them. I'll probably have like maybe 3 per like section of armor here, something like that. Just some Alpha Strike weapons that can add to the firepower for pretty cheap. But yeah, let's test this out and see if it works. I'm obviously going to turn on God mode just so I don't die, because I don't have turret caps or anything yet. And then we'll just spawn the Titan Slung over here. And again, why am I using the Titan Slung? It's because it shoots big Doom Crams, which are my greatest enemy on a big battleship. And I simply don't have anyone else's ship saved that has similar things. If I had something else saved, I might use something else. But this is the one. So I'm going to turn off the APS, the lasers, the CWIS, and you don't get to move. Just shoot your crams at me. That's all I care about. So let's watch. Pew, pew, pew. Got them all. And the Lambs is actually shooting at the APS and still has enough, you know, power to do that, which is pretty good. So I think 6 of these CWIS batteries is what the doctor ordered for taking down crams. Of course, I will still be having missile interceptors of some amount, just so that even bigger crams can't kill me, because, you know, there are bigger crams than this. But being able to basically invalidate this kind of Doom excuse me, I just ate breakfast. Being able to like invalidate this kind of Doom Cram volley is exactly what I wanted. And I'll just watch this out to the 3rd volley just to make sure. Pew, pew, and pew. Easy. So yeah, if we can just never get hit like that by big, you know, screw off crams, then we're pretty set. Because APS isn't really that big a deal. Like maybe super giga penetrators is an issue, because those will eventually hit me and will be very bad. But I'm not too worried. I'm more worried about crams than anything, to be honest. And as you can see, we're making mincemeat of this thing's armor. And this is the gun's not even set. Nothing's set up properly here yet. I probably need to add like tracers to some of these guns because they're really inaccurate. But anyway, let's destroy you. The last thing I want to do in this video is show off the turret cap design I've been trying. Because once we have these turrets capped off, it is superstructure time. Superstructure, lambs nodes, secondary caps. And then the final secondaries, stern armor, azipod armor and tuning, and shields, smoke. Yeah, it's not. It sounds like a lot's left, but it's really not that much in the grand scheme of things.